Hello, boys. Welcome back to White Pill Media. This is Dr. Infinity.
Beefaroni's fun to eat.
Beefaroni's really neat.
Beefaroni's quite a treat. Hooray!
Yippee! For
I
beefaroni!
can't take it anymore.
So, I actually made this video already. I recorded about a 25-minute video. That was a review of this movie with Fire and Sword. And I didn't have my microphone on. Hooray! There's nothing I can do with that. And I want to fucking scream. But I'm doing a second take right now because I care so much. However, that means this video is not coming out on Wednesday. It is definitely going to come out on Thursday because it's just not going to work. I can't stay up to midnight again when I have to go back into work. Let's get this done. Let's just fucking do this. With Fire and Sword, it's this Polish film, came out in 1999. It's a 3-hour movie. It is free on YouTube. I will have the link below. It is definitely a recommendation. It is a white pill. It has romance, it has genuine love, it has war, really interesting history, brotherhood, a lot of great things going on in this movie. I'm sorry I didn't have an upload last week, but there's a meeting thing and I had to go do that. And it was, This movie, it takes place in 1647. I am going to be kind of fast because I just recorded this video already, so I'm kind of going to pick it up the pace. Sorry about that. But it's 1647. Poland, Lithuania, and Ukraine are united under Vladislav IV. And right now, the Tatars, who are like a Mongolian, Eurasian group of people, I think they're from around Crimea. They have a Khan, so I guess they are like Mongolian, but they're Muslims. And the Cossacks in Ukraine are unhappy. They're unhappy with Polish rule right now, and there's talk of a rebellion going on. We have John Skurzycki, who is a lieutenant who serves Prince Jeremy, and he has saved a man from some bandits named Bonhand Zenobius Chemlinsky. And this guy's actually the head of the people who are riling up the Cossacks to rebel. So he ended up saving him. He didn't realize who he was at the time, but that's how we begin the movie. So from here on out, I'm going to have spoilers for the movie. It is a recommendation. It's free. It's free. If you have the time, I think it's worth it. If you kind of like historical drama movies and just good feelings, man. It's just, it's very strong. I think it's very strong. I have some smaller complaints, but overall, I really liked it. And it won't cost you any money. It's an anti-modern movie, and I know it came out 24 years ago, but still, it's a nice counter to all the other crap going on, right? But John, on his way to Prince Jeremy, he ends up meeting some people in an inn. There's this fat man. He's kind of a drunkard. He is a Globa, and he's a noble. And we have this guy, Longinus, or also known as Hood Snatcher, who has this Teutonic sword, which is like this relic that has been passed down in his family since 1410. And he has taken a vow of chastity until he cuts off 3 heads with 1 blow. And these guys join his crew, and they're on their way to Prince Jeremy, and they see some women stuck in a river, and they end up helping them out. And John sees Helena, and Helena is this incredibly beautiful woman, and she is smitten with John, and they end up going back to the elderly woman's home where she and her 4 sons live, and there's going to be a little feast and all that. But there's also Bohun, who is a Cossack, and he is at odds with John because they both want Helena to be their wife. You just kind of have Bahan very depressed and sad during the feast because Helena is dancing with John. And later that night, we have this nice little scene with Helena where she is kind of having some impure thoughts about John. I guess we'll say it like that. And she closes these little curtains on the Virgin Mary and the baby Jesus. But then she opens them back up, and then she prays to be John's wife. And yeah, it's just a really cute little scene, and it's genuine. It's a sincere movie. That's something, if there's only one word I can use to describe this film, it's sincere. Everything is done sincerely, and it's really good. It's just nice where everything's genuine, right? Everything's genuine. Nothing's like played for gags or laughs. You're not undercutting emotional moments just for a cheap laugh, because it got too serious. Someone might give a shit. And there was something going on where Helena was promised to Bahun so that Bahun would like let them keep their lands, but John ends up stepping in, and now Helena is going to be his wife. But he is tasked by Prince Jeremy to go spy on the Cossacks. We have this nice little boat ride where the men are singing, and it's very atmospheric. John gets captured and his men are killed, not like his main crew, just like the people he's traveling with. We learn a little bit more about the Cossacks. They just want their rights. Apparently Poland is just stripping away their rights, and their army's now on the march. I kind of like this. We have this drum scene with the Cossacks, and like their hair is done in an interesting way, and like their mustaches, and I thought they were mainly kind of a horse riding people. I know a little about the Cossacks because of reading those books on General Wrangel and the White Russian Army. So yeah, they're there. We have the winged hussars on the Polish side. I think those are winged hussars. I might be wrong. While this is going on, Bahun finds some letters that state that John is going to marry Helena, and he's outraged, so he goes to see the family again, and he ends up murdering them all, the four brothers and the elderly woman. But Zagloba went with him, and he helps Helena escape from Bohdan and Bahun. I hate these names, dude. I really hate these names. But while all this is going on, apparently like some peasants are also rebelling, and there's that, and Bahun just knows like a witch. He just has like a witch friend who, yeah, he's like using to help him. That's a little whatever. But the Polish army was defeated, and while this is going on, Vladislav IV is dead, right? So Vladislav IV is dead. Initially, I thought this meant that Prince Jeremy is now king of Poland. No, because they have like an election thing in Poland, and Jeremy is not the new king. The new king is John II. So that threw me a little bit later in the movie, because they go like to send word to the king that they need help, and I'm like, what are you doing? Jeremy's right there. He's the king. No, he's not. Because they have like an electoral college. I don't know if like you have a king who's elected, he has a son, that king dies. Would that son automatically become the king, or do the nobles have the right to vote and not necessarily follow that lineage? I don't know. Polish army is now back on the move after this defeat. But while this is going on, Balhun has been, seeking Helena, and he ends up capturing her again. And at this point, like, things are looking really grim. Helena has been captured by Balhun. Much of Jeremy's army has fled, and like the other nobles want peace with the Cossacks. We had this really nice image of a church, and it's just really beautiful. I just don't really see too many definitely not like modern buildings being built right now, you know what I mean? But it's like, it just looks fantastic. You have a lot of great shots like that in this movie, where it just looks good. It's not even just like the lack of CGI, but that helps. Like CGI, I think for the most part always looks bad, or it's just off-putting. I hope that's a real building. I think it must be, but very nice. John is like our main character, but he is missing from large chunks of the movie. That is something. I know it's like an epic because this is based on a book series of 3 books. So I get that it's like focusing on other characters, but there is a lot of John's not here. So he's our main character, but he's like not here for big chunks. And some scenes do tend to drag a little bit. That's something as well, but those are more minor complaints. All of this has led to 1649 and a big battle between Prince Jeremy and the Poles that are loyal to him, including John and his friends, versus the Tartars and the Cossacks. This is what's going on, and the Khan has come from Crimea, and again, like, he's a Muslim, but he's not like a Chechen. I think the Chechens are more like to the east and like the south, and like from Russia down to Turkey. I think the Chechens are like around that area, but they're Muslims as well. But I think these are different because they're more like Mongolian. Some of this looks really great. These advancing war engines from the Cossacks, those look really cool. But we have a really nice scene where Longinus, he's just kind of our big, dumb guy with like a great heart, like a big heart. And he's just sweet. You know what I mean? He's just a great dude. And he ends up cutting off 3 heads at once. So now his vow is fulfilled. He could finally have sex. He could finally take a wife and no longer be chased. However, they are in desperate need of supplies because they are starving from the siege. They volunteer to go out to try to get word to the King of Poland, who is John II, who was elected, and not Prince Jeremy, who is not in line to be king. Or I guess he was technically eligible to be elected. Maybe he was eligible, but he didn't win the election. And Longinus ends up being captured and killed by the Tartars, and they display his body. And there's just this really excellent scene where the men see his body, and it rallies all of them, and they rush out and they fight them off, and they reclaim Longinus's body so they can give it a proper burial. And Zagloba, who's kind of our fat, cowardly, noble guy, he's the first one to rush out there with his sword. And it's completely sincere. It is completely sincere and genuine, and they cry over him. And it's real. Like, it's real. It's like real human emotion. You really care that he's dead, I think, like, for most movies when, like, a character dies or something, like, I don't really give a shit too much. Not really. John is able to get through the lines, and he meets the King of Poland, who is coming with aid. However, it's not like a big final battle to decide things. All they do is like negotiate a peace. Like, the king saves them, right? He's able to negotiate the peace, but it's not like, and they defeated the Cossacks and the Tartars. It's more complicated than that. But Helena and John get together at the end, and that's wonderful and beautiful, and it's just good. I don't like that Bahun escapes, that he's let go, because he's definitely killed a lot of innocent people, and he's not like a morally gray figure. He's just really bad. He should just be killed, you know? I really dislike Bahun. Whatever. That's a smaller thing. And the end credits end with the wars will continue, and there's going to be a lot of destruction and pain and death. Oh man, this is kind of a downer. I don't know if this is the end of book 1. This movie covered all 3 trilogy, or the entire trilogy. It might have covered the entire trilogy, and this is just how the trilogy ends, where it's and things are not great. But they're still good for Helena and John, you know, and most of their people made it out, right? Most of their people made it out. Overall, cool costumes, cool setting, history, romance, love, war, this brotherhood, real, genuine, sincere emotions, and it's free. And it's free, boys. You can't beat that price. Yeah, very strong recommendation. And I had to do a little research at the end because the whole king thing threw me off, because I'm why isn't Prince Jeremy the king? I didn't get that. But they have, a little election with their kings, I guess. And apparently Bogdan Zenobius, the leader of the Ukrainian Cossacks, apparently this was a really bad thing for Jews, because he blamed Jews for assisting the Polish nobles who used them as tax collectors for making things so shitty for his people. And then he sought to eradicate Jews from Ukraine. And then he forbade all Jewish people from living in territory controlled by Cossack rebels. So there's that. I didn't know that going into the movie, but I'm all right, just something I didn't know. So yeah, that's something else too, I guess. Anyways, I'm sorry that this video is shorter. Again, the first version of this video was 25 minutes long, and this is going to be maybe 15, 16 minutes. I was just kind of a little frustrated that I didn't fucking record it right. So this is a little faster. Hopefully I still hit the same beats. Hopefully you're interested, you check it out. Gonna try to have 2 other videos this week, because I am sorry there was no upload last week. There should be a Welcome to the Troth video. I've been kind of dragging my heels on that, because I'm gonna do 2 books for it. I finished one of them. I'm fairly mixed on it. It's not a really solid recommendation. I'm gonna talk about it. And the other one, which I haven't finished, but I'm getting close. So far with what I've read over a third of it. Also, I'm pretty mixed on it. And I don't really love doing that on this channel. I like everything to be a recommendation most of the time. But I still want to talk about these books. And I wanted to have here's a movie I recommend. And then hopefully the third video will be another movie I recommend. So we'll see. We will see. Anyways, thanks for watching. Dr. Infinity out. I'm sorry this didn't come out on Wednesday, but now it's pretty late, so I think it's going to have to be Thursday.